Aries, this month is not a neutral stretch. At home, you recover only if you slow the pace. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 puts you in front of a plain truth. When you race without checking the rhythm, you burn more energy than you gain. The astrological cause is concrete. Daily routine is under scrutiny. The lunar eclipse and the final stretch of the month push hard on practical work, repeated tasks, and personal stamina. The personal stake runs through the same line. At home, you recover only if you slow the pace. Mars in Cancer shifts the weight onto your domestic base and makes simple, grounded recovery more useful than force. Move. If you need to clear the air with someone close or a practical contact, keep your words few and exact. Avoid instant answers in tense conversations. The trap this month is reacting on impulse and then having to fix everything afterward. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. Taurus, this month is not a neutral stretch. Your body works better when you slow the theater. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 puts your way of creating, wanting, and showing yourself in the spotlight, and it does not reward forcing the issue. The astrological cause is concrete. An eclipse intensifies desire. The first eclipse in the fifth house opens the month with a clear threshold, a passion, a project, or a personal appearance. The personal stake runs through the same line. Your body works better when you slow the theater. With Venus square Mars, the risk is pushing too hard between pleasure and irritation. Move. Tidy up dates, deadlines, and replies. This month favors practical clarity more than constant availability. Do not drag out a prestige decision. If a role, a choice, or a public image no longer belongs to you, delaying out of habit will cost you. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Gemini, this month is not a neutral stretch. Who listens to you matters more than who keeps pushing. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 revolves around home, close ties, and the way you defend your emotional space. The astrological cause is concrete. A domestic threshold is being redrawn. The lunar eclipse in the fourth house makes it impossible to take what happens at home for granted. The personal stake runs through the same line. Who listens to you matters more than who keeps pushing. In contact, cleaner tones matter more than rushing to explain yourself. Move. Take one expense, one collaboration, or one domestic issue, and put it into plain words. Do not waste energy chasing clarifications while the temperature is high. Avoid turning every tension into an immediate reply. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Cancer, this month is not a neutral stretch. At home, a sober gesture matters. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. For you, August 2026 is mainly about the way you speak, listen, and decide what to hold back. The astrological cause is concrete. Venus brings warmth back to the home. From August 6, Venus in Libra shifts attention toward the emotional and practical base. The personal stake runs through the same line. At home, a sober gesture matters. Venus in Libra favors concrete acts and gentler relationships, but the final part of the month asks for precise words and no guesswork. Move. With Venus in Libra, a practical gesture is enough to improve the atmosphere at home. One shared expense or one task moved off someone's plate. Do not feed assumptions about someone else's tone. Between the eclipses and the late month transitions, do not treat a vague message or a half-finished impression as proof. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Leo, this month is not a neutral stretch. Money and work need a calm review. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 puts money, self-worth, and the way you take up space at the center. The astrological cause is concrete. Value needs rethinking. The lunar eclipse in the second house, along with the one at the end of the month, speaks about income, spending, and personal esteem. The personal stake runs through the same line. Money and work need a calm review. Income, outgoings, and priorities have to be read together. Move. In conversations with others, it is better to correct one piece at a time than demand a total rewrite. Leave pride out of your replies. The immediate reaction may make you look strong, but it often shifts the point and complicates the dialogue. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Virgo. This month is not a neutral stretch. In relationships, tone matters more than speed. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. For Virgo, August 2026 is less about proving control and more about revising your stance. The astrological cause is concrete. Your personal image takes a jolt. The lunar eclipse in the first house asks you to look honestly at how you enter situations and how much you are adapting. The personal stake runs through the same line. In relationships, tone matters more than speed. Between the eclipses and Venus, relationships work better if you listen more and demand less perfection from the other person. Move. At work and in your contacts, let go of what drains energy without improving the result. Put off the impulsive reply. If a discussion flares in a group or in a close connection, do not answer while it is still hot. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Libra. This month is not a neutral stretch. Balance comes through tone. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. The decisive part of August 2026 is not about moving faster, but about seeing what remains standing when you stop smoothing everything over. The astrological cause is concrete. The hidden side of life asks to be heard. The lunar eclipse in the 12th house brings forward what you have kept at the edge for too long. The personal stake runs through the same line. Balance comes through tone. With Venus in your sign, a well-built sentence matters more than automatic availability. Move. Take time to check agreements, messages, and promises before you answer. Avoid defensive reactions near the end of the month, especially when you feel cornered. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. Scorpio. This month is not a neutral stretch. Gestures matter more than explanations. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 pushes you to see who stays aligned with your direction and who is only taking up space. The astrological cause is concrete. The eclipse separates useful bonds from surface-level presences. The lunar eclipse in the 11th house puts friendships, goals, and visibility at the center. The personal stake runs through the same line. Gestures matter more than explanations. With the moon in Taurus and Venus in Libra, dialogue improves if you keep the form simple and let the facts speak. Move. When you show up at work, use clean phrases and keep one objective in view. Do not keep dead connections alive. The temptation is to leave everything open so you don't lose anyone. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Sagittarius. This month is not a neutral stretch. Emails and agreements demand precision. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 puts your role in front of a concrete check. It is not enough to have a broad idea. You need to know what to show. The astrological cause is concrete. Your public role is under review. The eclipses in your professional sector do not ask for theater, only substance. The personal stake runs through the same line. Emails and agreements demand precision. On the practical side, exchanges, messages, presentations, and close arrangements all carry weight. Move. Put 3 essentials in writing: what you do, with whom, and in what time frame. Avoid big declarations in meetings. The trap this month is promising too much in order to impress, or to keep a door open. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Capricorn. This month is not a neutral stretch. Role and money ask for judgment. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. The center of August 2026 is your idea of the future. Not everything you imagined needs to continue in the same way. The astrological cause is concrete. Long-range direction is being reconsidered. The eclipse in your zone of vision, study, and far-reaching movement puts pressure on an idea that had stayed too abstract. The personal stake runs through the same line. Role and money ask for judgment. A favorable opening at work makes a clear, well-presented proposal more useful, but the financial base still needs checking. Move. If you need to move on work or in negotiation, give attention to the form before the content. One well-built sentence opens more doors. Avoid sudden reactions in close relationships. When you feel hit at the core, do not answer immediately. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Aquarius. This month is not a neutral stretch. Clean words and fewer subtexts matter in relationships. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. August 2026 brings you into a passage that does not enjoy half measures. The astrological cause is concrete. The eclipse pushes one serious knot toward closure. The pressure is not here to confuse you, but to show where a bond, an expense, or an agreement can no longer stay as it is. The personal stake runs through the same line. Clean words and fewer subtexts matter in relationships. Contacts hold better when you say plainly what you need and what no longer works. Move. Take one concrete issue, sort it calmly, and only then move to the next. Once terms and consequences are clear, avoid decisions made out of self-defense. When pressure rises, do not answer with a sudden cutoff or an instinctive break. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land. Pisces. This month is not a neutral stretch. What you can say without forcing yourself matters. If you keep it vague, it sets the tone for the whole month. The issue is simple. For you, August 2026 is not about urgency, but about the quality of bonds and agreements. The astrological cause is concrete. Friction in partnerships is harder to ignore. The eclipse in the 7th house makes tensions in relationships and pacts more visible. The personal stake runs through the same line. What you can say without forcing yourself matters. In contact, the point is not to please everyone, but to name clearly what you feel and what you can actually share. Move. If money, responsibility, or shared expectations are involved, put in writing what is truly agreed. Let go of the yes given just to keep the peace. The month's risk is giving too much just to keep the atmosphere smooth. Reread this when August 2026 asks for more restraint again. The second time, the real point will land.